All right, let's take a look at Mark Scout from the show Severance. Great show. The age at the time the show starting was 47. His location is Keir, PE, which I'm guessing is supposed to be Pennsylvania in our universe. His employer is Lumen Industries. He's been there for 2 years. He started out as a senior macro data refiner, promoted to macro data refinement chief. His salary, that was a tough one, right? Because, I mean, there's no frame of reference for that. The only thing I could do is kind of base it on what somebody would accept to take a job like that. His previous employer was a college in Gantz, history professor, I believe, specializing in World War One. The average salary for someone at Penn State professor is around 105 to 174. I can assume that, or we can assume that him and Gemma both had PhDs. So I'm guessing the estimated salary would be somewhere around $150,000. So to go from that to a job where you're going to have brain surgery, a chip implanted, I'm assuming they had to bring everything, put everything on the table to get him to accept it. So my guess would be around $250,000 base plus 20% bonus every year. Total compensation is about 300,000 plus additional compensation, maybe stock options, something like that. But I'd say his base pay had to be no less than $250,000. I know I certainly wouldn't do it for any less. So his estimated coverage from Lumen, I would say, would be roughly one times his salary. So let's assume that he's got $250,000 of coverage from Lumen. I'm guessing they have optional coverage, probably three times his base pay for $750,000 for his total coverage amount to be $1 million. As far as debt, the houses around Pennsylvania, around Penn State specifically, around $400,000. Him and Gemma probably had the house for several years, so probably less than that. Assuming that Gemma, I think she's taught Russian lit, assuming that she made the same thing at the university at the time of her death, Penn State offers a base package, one times your annual salary plus three times your annual salary for optional. So if she was making $150,000, her coverage would have been $600,000. So in theory, the house should be paid off, and they shouldn't have any outstanding debt. So I'm not really seeing the need for Mark to have a life insurance policy outside of his work coverage. It looks like that's going to be more than sufficient. He doesn't have a wife. Yeah, I guess technically he doesn't have any kids, no pets. The house should be paid for. The only thing I could think of, maybe if he wanted to leave something to his sister and his brother-in-law and the niece Eleanor, but that should more than cover it. Let's see. Let's take a look at the people that could potentially receive it. Let's take a look at Devin, his sister. Her occupation, midwife. Average salary for a midwife is around $105,000. Rickon is the author of 5 self-help books, the latest one being You Are You Are. His salary, I'm guessing for an author, it really varies. The self-help industry is really popular, so if he has maybe a couple hundred devotees, then he can easily charge like $5,000 a year for some self-help course that they would more than likely gladly pay. But let's just say he is making $100,000 a year. Eleanor is the niece, so I'm guessing between Devin and Rickon, Eleanor should be fine, along with the total coverage from work being $1 million. I don't see a need for Mark to have a life insurance policy outside of work. I can't find the need, so I would recommend against it. Even if you were to look for a life insurance policy outside of work, the procedure, an elective brain surgery procedure, is probably going to trigger a lot of underwriting. I don't think that's going to get approved. The earliest procedure, according to what I could find online, was 12 years ago, so there's no long-term studies. So my recommendation is that he doesn't need life insurance outside of work, and even if he did, he would probably get denied for a term policy.